Cold weather health alerts have been issued for large parts of the UK as temperatures plummet. Snow and ice is forecast over the weekend, while people are still working to clear up the damage caused by floods in the last few days. Danny Savage reports.
Most of the water has drained away, so today was about starting the clear up. Carolyn is a volunteer at this church and cafe in Warrington. She's seen it flood before.
This happened a few years ago and it almost ruined the building. Everything was wrecked, the plaster had to be taken off, replastered, repainted, and it does affect the business, it affects the church, the congregation, and it is disheartening when it keeps happening.
A few doors away, this was the scene yesterday. Today, the insurers are on site. Have you been flooded before?
Once, and 2021.
Rosina is thoroughly fed up.
I don't want to come back to here.
That's it, you've had enough.
I had enough. So it's really stressful. So I thought, oh,
that's it. Time to move.
Time to move.
So yet again, the furniture is raised off the ground and belongings are dumped in gardens. They still can't get their cars out from the cul-de-sacs beyond this flood. Karina was moving out of her sodden semi, resigned to another rebuild. You're moving out now with your suitcases?
Yeah, I'm just going to, we're at our friend's house and kind of just need to sort some more accommodation now.
How long do you reckon you'll be out for?
About 6 months was last time.
And that's pretty typical. On average, people are out of their homes for about 9 months for it to dry out and to be repaired. So for those affected, it's really only just beginning. The people who had to move out of this building in Stockport yesterday are slowly returning to assess the damage. The Bridgewater Canal in Cheshire collapsed with inevitable consequences. A lack of water now being the problem.
3, 2, 1, go!
It might have stopped raining, but snow is now in the forecast. It's already covered parts of northern Scotland and is expected much more widely over the weekend. No surprise then that a cold weather health alert has been issued for England for the coming days. Winter is here.
Let's talk to Danny now and just explain what the cold weather health alert actually means.
Yes, Sophie, I think we're all used to the Met Office weather warnings that come in place in severe weather, and you have those yellow, amber and red warnings issued. We're not so familiar with the health warnings, and one of those has been issued today, an amber health warning for all of England from now through until midday next Wednesday. And they are issued in situations where the NHS may see increased demand on GPs and ambulances, for example, some travel disruptions expected, potential to cause problems getting people to and from places. And it basically signals that vulnerable people to the cold, usually aged over 65, need specific checks and visits over the coming days. So if there's somebody over 65 in your life who you think is vulnerable to the cold, this is an official nudge, if you like, to keep an eye on them and keep checking on them over the next week. For example, to make sure that the ambient temperature perhaps in their home remains at the recommended level of 18 degrees Celsius or above. So that's the health alert. There's also a number of weather alerts in place as well. I think the most interesting one is the one for snow and ice from midday on Saturday through until midnight on Sunday, a 36-hour period. That takes in nearly all of England and all of Wales, and there's potential for some heavy snowfall. Still hasn't been nailed down how much and where, but that will obviously be down to the weather forecasters over the next few days to give more detail on that. So weather alerts and health alerts in place until early next week, Sophie.
Well, here, wintry weather warnings have come into force for parts of the country tonight as a cold snap sets in. The UK Health Security Agency says elderly people are at particular risk, with temperatures plunging as low as -8. It follows heavy rain that's already brought flooding and some travel disruption. This evening's snow and ice warnings will last into tomorrow, before England and Wales brace for heavy snow and freezing rain on Saturday. And by Sunday, most of Britain will be under yellow weather warnings. Well, with more, here's our North of England reporter, Kelly Foran.
It may look a pretty picture, but this frosty weather has triggered a nationwide health warning. As the country braces itself for the next weather events, this part of Greater Manchester is still recovering from one. Cars not stuck in traffic but underwater as a month's worth of rain fell in 24 hours. The pole in this photo, a bus stop, taken from Leanne's window. Evacuated from her apartment, she's still not allowed back inside.
The water just came, and it came so quickly in the space of about 40 minutes. The garage was full because it's on a slope. All the water just kept running in, and it was just like quite overwhelming.
This hotel, still blocked off by floodwater, was housing 500 refugees and asylum seekers. They had to be rescued by boat. Bedding piled high in the local mosque, where many of them slept overnight.
Few vulnerable people, you know, dementia, disabilities, illnesses. Obviously some of them was refugees, some were obviously from residents as well. So some were distressed, lots of children didn't know what was going on.
Although the river levels are still fairly high today, yesterday they were measured at levels that were the highest on record at almost 12 foot. The water so high, hundreds were trapped in their flats.
No power, no transport, no clean water. So this is a really great start to 2025, everyone.
Depressed, I suppose, because obviously I've lost my car, somewhere to live. It's hard for people.
The emergency services had to rescue 1,000 people.
I've served for nearly 3 decades now, and I've never sort of managed the multi-agency response, working with police and councils and volunteers from the Red Cross and mountain rescue and a whole range of people, where we need to rescue 1,000 people in a day from their homes. So it is fairly unprecedented.
And as temperatures are due to fall over the coming days, health bosses say deaths could rise. And because of those fears, there is a cold health alert for England, and they're only issued when there are concerns that the temperatures could have an impact on people's well-being. Now, the rain here has stopped, but those weather warnings haven't. There are still warnings in place for snow and ice for England, parts of Wales and parts of Scotland. They go right through until Monday. And I mean, this time last week it was Christmas time, and it was actually unusually mild for this time of year, but that's all set to change very soon.
Certainly is. So, Kelly, thank you.